recently I built this glass door to our dressing room, and building it, I tried to mimic the style of the old farmhouse style doors we have in this house. And now it's our bathroom's turn to get it going.